Hello everyone, welcome back to the Farm Bureau Minute. We're back in action in Helena. It's the first week back after the transmittal break, and the legislature really got back to work pretty quickly. There were a lot of bills being heard, and it seems like next week is going to be even more crazy. We know that we're going to see a whole bunch of tax bills next week, and also, and those will be new tax bills, I should specify. As you probably know, but maybe you don't, there are different transmittal deadlines throughout the process. So first off, for general bills, those that do not have an appropriation in them, they have a 45, or this year I think it was 48-day deadline. After that, we can still see some new bills as long as they're revenue bills, which means they either raise money, they have to raise money, not cost money to the state, but those have a 67-day transmittal deadline. And that will be coming up more quickly than we all expect. So there are going to be, like I said, quite a few new tax bills introduced next week. We're also going to see either the first appearance or secondary appearances of a lot of water bills. So we know that we're going to have a really busy week next week. But I guess I should focus on what we did this week. And I'm kind of peeking over at our board that shows some of the things we'll be in on. But that pretty well covers what we can look forward to next week, in addition to having our ACE program in town for their Helena seminar. So we look forward to having all those folks in town. Sue-Ann and Carly are going to put on a great program for you, and it will be fun to have some members here in town and to bring you up to the Capitol. So look forward to seeing you all. Now, back to this week. This has been, like I said, a pretty busy week for just bill hearings in general, but also because of lots of fun activities. It's National Ag Week after all, so we celebrated National Ag Day in the Capitol on Tuesday. It was really neat because the Department of Ag hosts a really great lunch with sponsorships from many different ag organizations and associations, including us. So we had a booth in the Capitol. We got to enjoy a really good dinner, which several people, by the way, mentioned was the best Rotunda event that has been hosted this year. So kudos to the ag world. Of course, we should have the best meal in the Rotunda. But it was also really special because we had a welcome from Director Street. She's doing such a great job at the Department of Agriculture, and it was fun to hear from her and to hear how excited she is and how many fun and really exciting ideas she has for the state of Montana, and specifically with agriculture. And so loved having her there and hearing from her. And of course, the governor was also there to read his proclamations, proclaiming it to be Montana Ag Day and Montana Ag Week. So that was a fun touch. You know, a lot of times things are very serious up here in Helena. We don't get a chance to do something fun and celebratory very often. So this was great. We also had our board in town for our board meeting, and that was great for them to be able to participate in some of these celebratory events, as well as get in on a lot of updates from us on what kind of bills we've been in on. Going back in time one day was St. Patrick's Day on Monday. So you may not know this, but for many years, the Montana Ag Business Association has hosted their St. Patrick's Day legislative reception, and Montana Farm Bureau and Montana Stock Growers have joined them. And well, we've been doing it as long as I've been lobbying, so at least 9 sessions. This year we added the grain growers as well, so we had a big Aggie legislative reception where we welcomed members of the legislature and also our board and other boards that were in town to come and enjoy some corned beef and just discuss all of the ag issues impacting us in the state, and then of course to talk about specific bills if they had questions for our folks as well. So that's always a great event. It was a good way to start the week. As far as bill hearings, we had a repeat of Representative Tillman's I'm probably going to get the number wrong, House Bill 357, I believe it is, but it increases the funding for middle school CTE funding or programming. This is obviously very important. We love to teach these important skills not only to our own children who we hope return to the farms and ranches, but also to kids that are going to work in the trades that are very important to our farms and ranches. That bill's been sailing along without much trouble, so we hope that it continues to do that. But the sooner you can get a young person interested in a career, the better. So love seeing that kind of, what used to be kind of a high school focus, we love seeing that get down into the junior high level. That same day was a repeat of House Bill 119, which is the Montana Cattle Committee bill. This, like I said, I call it a repeat, but what I mean by that is it has passed the House. It had its first hearing in Senate Ag. That was a very long hearing because there were a lot of both proponents and opponents, and then a lot of discussion with the committee. As you probably have heard if you've been reading our updates, we've been working really hard on coming up with amendments that appease some of the opposition that we've heard in the House side, and some concerns that the administration has, and we're addressing those while still maintaining the integrity of the program. So Carly was in on that hearing and got to share all of that, and so we'll be looking forward to continuing these discussions with the Senate Ag Committee until they decide to take action. So stay tuned for that. And then there's been a mix of water bills. We saw Senate Bill 190 again, the waiver of adverse effect bill. It's one of the comprehensive water review bills that we did support. It had a good hearing in House Natural Resources. We also were in opposing House Bill 676 this morning in Senate Judiciary. Unfortunately, that bill would end, I would say more or less tie the hands of the water court that exists in Montana today, and is very important to our farmers and ranchers, because that is this is the entity that is completing adjudication. We're getting close to having adjudication done. Yes, it's been an ongoing, kind of a long process. It started in 1979, and unfortunately what this bill does is ties their hands by limiting their responsibilities and duties somewhat, and then puts in an arbitrary deadline for that work to be done. If it's not done, what happens is the adjudication would be turned over to district courts. District courts have no experience at all in adjudicating water rights, and this would likely put all of our adjudication at risk, and certainly for those basins that were not finally adjudicated, puts our constitutionally protected water rights in jeopardy. There's some other state lands concerns with it as well, so we had a good hearing. We'll see what goes on there. I'm looking at Sage to see if we have had any questions pop up so far, but I'm just trying to give you a fast report. My question for all of you, and we'd love your feedback on this, is how helpful or relevant are these Facebook Lives? If you just like seeing Carly and my smiling faces, we're happy to continue doing them, but we really want to make sure that we are sharing important information with all of you. As you know, members get weekly updates from us, complete with all of the bills that we have worked on, the positions we've taken, and the policies that give us that position from our policy books. We also do a quarterly newsletter, which you probably just received the second one from the first half of the session, possibly this week or last week, and we'll be doing 2 more of those. We're always happy to answer questions for our members, and because we work for you, the members, and we care about what you all think in the country. And of course, we don't take any position on any bill unless it is specified in our policy book. So I think we have a really great policy development process. The grassroots process that we observe is really special in this state, and we should be celebrating that. I'm always proud to represent that. We've had some questions on how that works throughout this session, and it's been fun for me to get to answer those questions so people know that what Farm Bureau advocates for is truly what the grassroots are asking for out in the country. So if you have feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. But remember, if you want to change our position on anything or think there's more things we should be getting involved with, the way to do that is to attend your County Farm Bureau meeting this fall and make your voice heard. So thanks for everything, and we will talk to you next week.